Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Berube here for another Facebook Live on this Thursday. Okay, and getting towards the end of June here. Today we are very fortunate, as I call him, El Presidente. Okay, we have Aldo Martinez. Hey, from the Southwest brand.
Yeah, I like that audience back there. That's pretty good.
Well, you know what? It's one of the benefits of doing it from the studio audience. Studio is
Yeah.
we have an audience in the back too. All right, and the reason I call him El Presidente is because he is currently president of no longer Galvar, which was a cool name, by the way. Las Vegas Areas Realtors. All right, so Aldo, take it away. Tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff, please.
God, let's see what's so exciting. So I started real estate in about 1993. Mark Stark was then in my seat. He was the branch manager of the Green Valley office at that time. And I've been pretty much with the organization since 93 all the way to today. And like I've always said, I go until the day that he fires me, I'm going to be like a thorn in his side.
He's just going to keep showing up, right? Well, I doubt he's going to fire you. So
Yeah.
I think you're all set. And your agents love you there too. Let's face it. Every time I go there, they're like, "Okay, we love Aldo." I go, "I know we do too."
No, but they're great. That's one of the reasons why you come into work every day is because you love the job that you do, the people that you're around, and
Yeah.
we've become an amazing family over here.
Oh yeah, it's such a great office. It's there's energy and enthusiasm. I was just there a couple weeks ago. Was it I spoke? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you get feedback from them. They interject, even if it's to make fun of me, which I still like. So. All right, Aldo. So, a little bit before, what did you do before real estate?
I was in the military for 22 years. So I started out as an air traffic controller back in 1983. Little did I know that the military had this thing called tactical air traffic controller. So where I thought I was going to be in a tower replacing all the air traffic controllers that Reagan was firing because they wouldn't go back to work on strike. I ended out in combat zones, setting up airfields to bring in, helicopter flights in, helipads, LZs, and stuff like that. I did that all the way through '86, and then I figured, let's go get an education. I came back home. I thought I'd stay in with the National Guard because they said it was a pretty nice gig. You get to sit there and drink beer on the weekends, and they pay you for it, and you can go to school. But that wasn't actually the case. Next thing you know, they had me training military police officers. Went to MP school, stood up a 72nd MP company. That company, we mobilized them to Desert Storm in 1990. When they got back, I said, can I get a job that doesn't deploy as much anymore? Okay, I was tired of being deployed places. And they put me in recruiting. And it seems like I haven't been able to get out of recruiting for the rest of my life. So I've either been recruiting for the military, or I've been recruiting for real estate. And that's been my gig.
Yeah, and you did a great job recruiting. Your daughter's the one who told me that, by the way, when she was working here at St. Rose.
Oh yeah.
Said, my father was the best recruiter for the military. I'm like, I bet he was. And you're doing a fabulous job here too. You had a great month last month. You had a great year last year. So yeah, recruiting. I mean, let's face it. In our job, I get to work with the managers and some of the top agents, some of the new agents, all of them. But let's face it, recruiting and really selling people on what's possible for them is a big part of this job, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, your whole entire life you're selling yourself, right? Whether it's to somebody or for something. I mean, that's what we do at sales. And the better that you're able to present yourself and the organization that you're with, the more success you're going to have.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Good stuff. Yeah, and it's a full-time job. You dress nice every day. You're in the office early. You stay late. Probably some of that discipline came from your time in the military, right?
Yeah, it's I think it was either that or my mom and dad. I mean, they were always. I remember when as a kid, people say, "Aldo, you got great handwriting," and I always have to tell them, I go, "Well, that's because my mom. She always, before I could ever go out to play every single day, I had to copy a page out of Reader's Digest, but in the Spanish version." Right. So I think it starts as a kid. They start setting you up with the structure and things that you have to do every single day before you can do the things that you want to do. And the military just carried on that. They put a lot of responsibility on you and make you be responsible for things. And if it fails, it's on you. It's on nobody else's shoulders. So you kind of learn to live with it. And I remember the first job I got when I got back here in the National Guard. One of the colonels, now it was a captain, hires me to be an admin person. And he asks me, Aldo, can you type? And I go, yeah. I go, I can type. And he goes, okay, I need somebody that can type. And I go, okay, yeah, no problem. But I needed a job, So next day I go into work and he hands me this pile of paperwork and he goes, okay, I need this by tomorrow morning. I said, okay, great. And I go back to my desk. I stick it in the old IBM Selectric typewriter and I'm, pecking away 2 fingers at a time. And about a half hour, 45 minutes later, he comes over to me. He says, Aldo, he goes, the first question I asked you is, could you type? And you told me that you could. And I go, I can. I'm just not very fast. And he says, I need this on my desk. I need this on my desk by tomorrow. And I said, sir, I go, it doesn't matter if I'm going to be here till 1 o'clock in the morning. I go, it will be on your desk tomorrow morning. And that's what it was every single day. Whatever I got given, it was going to get done, whether it took me 1 hour, 2 hours, or all day to do it. They paid me to do a job, and you were going to complete it. And later on in years, talking to Colonel Morrow, I used to ask him, I go, I don't understand. I mean, you always gave me all these, missions and things to do that I just didn't comprehend. He goes, well, whenever I had to have something that I needed to get done, I knew I could give it to you and it was going to get done. I didn't have to worry about it. And that was a big relief. And so
that's great. It's a great compliment too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome too. Yeah. People ask me all the time too, you're disciplined. Did you get that? Were you in the military? I always go, no, I went to Catholic schools for 10 years.
Yeah, the two of those work about the same.
Yes, those nuns, they're scary. Scary, I tell you. All right, so I've been seeing you because of your, and I know you've been a director, you've been a board member, you've been involved in LVR for a long time now, since it was Galvar and so forth. You've been doing a lot of interviews lately. So tell us a little about what you see based on all the things you see with all the information you have as far as this crazy market we're in, the wonderfully crazy market we're in.
Well, Rick, a lot of it's nothing that I really see. Is you listen to what people are telling you and what other smarter people than you look at, and then the picture becomes pretty clear if you just listen enough. So for me, some of the things I've seen, we're having a great market. Like this morning, I was doing sending an email back to our publicist to go out to the Review Journal because they keep quoting me in some interviews in reference to. The market's slowing down and they're tapping the brakes in real estate in Las Vegas. And I asked them, I go, please don't quote me saying that because that's not a true representation of what's really happening. It's not that the real estate market is tapping the brakes. We go through these seasonal adjusts every single year. Last year was the first time that we probably did not see the summer seasonal adjust, that when the kids get out of school, the parents start going on vacation. So they're not looking at homes at the current time and things of that nature. But what we're seeing right now in June, coming out of May, and in June and July, we're basically going to see the families have already made some of their buying decision to get their kids into school, and they're going to be taking the vacations that they haven't had in over 14 months, enjoying their family a little bit more. You can see that Americans and just Vegas and as well, we've reprioritized our lives and seen how important family is. So you could see the markets heating up as well, which the increased pricing where property values are now hitting that 400,000 range, which is something that we spoke about earlier in the year, that once we get to 400,000, we're going to start to outprice the medium wage earner in this valley. And you're starting to see that. So a little bit fewer, less buyers are able to actually purchase the house that they want. And then this is where you also saw in the marketplace a lot of investor, Blackstone, Zillow, other companies out there that were represented by a host of companies that were purchasing up investment properties. They're buying everything under 400,000. They're trying to build up a rental inventory. You saw builders come into here like Rent America and other builders that are actually building developments that are not for sale, but are actually for sale. They're building to rent, actually. And it's because they have an understanding. And again, these are people that are smarter than me, you, and a lot of us. They know their numbers, they know the statistics, and they go, these members of the community are not going to be able to buy property, and they're going to need a place to live, and they don't want to live in all the apartments that are out there. They want a house. So they're building that type of inventory for them, which is a rental inventory.
Yeah. It's so true. You see these big companies coming in here, buying up all property because they know what's going to happen here. You know,
Yeah.
you hold on to them for 3 to 5 years, and then you sell them. It's kind of like after the crash when like even some of these bigger high rises, they turned them into rentals for a while, then they
Mhm.
refurbished them and sold them all. Okay, so that same type of thing is going on right now. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, the media, they try to make it into something it's not. You know, the markets
Yeah.
that break are on and about, but it's really not the case. As a matter of fact,
It's the last. It's the last thing that you want to tell Las Vegans right now, right? It's the last thing. I mean, they just came out of a 11-year recession, so everybody is just on pins and needles that here comes the next bubble, and my property values are going to crash. And you know, you said it yourself. You came to a meeting and it made a statement that was so crystal clear that I go, you know what? That is so true. It's not an inventory problem. It's a supply issue,
right,
right? It's a supply issue. They stopped building at their levels that they normally built for 10 years, and we have to recoup that supply. And it's not going to happen overnight in 1 year or 2
right,
years, you know?
yeah,
So, the rental, you know, I'm looking at this because the way that we do rentals in Las Vegas is a lot different than the way that other states do rentals as far as real estate goes. But you see, you know, like in California where it's commission based. You know, they charge a commission for putting properties up for rent, and it might be something that we're going to have to start looking at in Las Vegas as well as the prices continue to go up,
mm,
and rental accommodations are going to be more a part of the real estate business. They might have to start looking at commission structures a little bit differently.
yeah. Yeah, you're talking about when I spoke at the meeting, I you know because I hear a lot of people say there's no inventory. The agents I coach,
No.
no, there's all kinds of inventory. It's just under contract,
Yeah.
which is
We're
nice.
getting 3,700 units every single month, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
when you look at the numbers, you know, they're right here since January. I mean, January was the slow because we're coming out of the holidays. We had about 2,800 units come to market. You got 3,000 units come to market in February. You got 3,500 come to market in March, 3,700 in April, and 3,700 again in May. You know, we got plenty of properties. I mean, these are more properties being listed than were being listed last year and the year before that.
and
We're
the year
on
before that, definitely.
Yeah, in 2018, 19, and 20, we were doing 32,000 number of units sold per year. We're on pace to sell over 38,000 units this year. That's a
Right.
6,000 unit increase in single family residential units over the last 3 years. It's not a lack of inventory, it's just being absorbed. It's a demand and supply issue that we have right now.
Yeah, and it's like what we talked about. You know, after the 2007 adjustment, crash, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
You know, financial institutions and builders didn't build out as far as they had the last two times that the
Right.
market did this. And now it's simply that we have so many people moving here. We have a supply and demand issue. That's all it really is, and that's part of it, along with the most incredible interest rates ever in the history of real estate. So, I mean, all those things. It's the perfect storm, real estate wise.
Yeah.
Now, I know the media likes to to play with those, and they like to have people read their stuff. But let's face it, this market is going to be here for a while. And like you said, when people start going on vacation, and the first week we have at 115 degrees,
Hmm.
it slows it down for a short period of time. Now last year we didn't have that because April and
Nowhere
May,
to go.
yeah, April and May were cut in half because of the pandemic. And so once it opened up like mid-June, it just didn't stop, and it's been going ever since.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So anything else you think they should know about the market right now?
You know, the one thing that I keep trying to even tell our own agents is if you have buyers that are on the fence, you got to have conversations with them. You got to tell them that, look, if they're looking to make a buying decision, do it now, because it's inevitable that the prices are going to exceed what they can afford, and the type of housing that they're going to have to settle for in order to have ownership is not anything that they're going to be willing to accept, and they're going to become tenants.
Yeah.
And the number one wealth creator in America is home ownership.
Yep.
It's been that way for a while. And it's a shame that this is going away. We're going to have some conversations with builders to look at different ways to provide affordable housing. We're probably going to see a lot more brownstones or row type of housing. You're seeing that happen, throughout the valley right now. That's becoming one of the bigger developments because you're being able to get more density into the land values. I mean, even land and real estate's getting out of control.
Yeah.
I just get your buyers into a house now, get them going. The interest rates are great. The Feds are going to have to start raising the interest rates, right? We've had 6-7% inflation over the last couple of months, and they're going to have to pump the brakes on that one. So, and the only way to do that is by raising interest rates a little bit, which is going to make it even less affordable, and the choking is going to start commencing. So, get in those houses now, hold tight, because we don't see this foreclosure inventory that people were predicting and talking about. If you look at everybody, the CFPB is doing everything in their power to ensure that doesn't happen. I got to say, government's doing a really good job at keeping people in their homes and not going through the same mess that was before. The CFPB has told Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of the institutional lenders that, hey, you will do everything in your power to keep the people in the home. They can come right out of forbearance. They can go right straight into loan modification. You can't increase their payments. You can't increase their interest rate. So you better figure out a way to, whatever you need to do, keep them in the home. So those are good things that are happening out there. We're not going to have this flood of REO property that's going to hit. I mean, we're going to still have your normal foreclosures that happen during any
market. Yeah.
But it's where people were expecting it is not going to happen.
Well, I don't know who was expecting that, but I know you weren't, and I know I wasn't, because with the economy. I mean, think about this. At one point last year, we had a 16% unemployment rate for a snapshot of time. Yeah. Now it's back down to 5%. Everybody who wants to be working is working. All right. And we have this incredible appreciation, low interest rates. And I agree with you. The Fed has pretty much said we're going to keep them steady till the end of next year. But I agree with you. I wouldn't be shocked if it was the middle of next year. Plus, what you just said about that 400,000 price, you can still own in Las Vegas for the same money or even a little bit better than renting. That's not going to be like that forever.
400,000 is going to cost you about 2,200. Mortgage, with taxes and insurance and the whole bit. So it's 2,200 to 2,400. So it's right there on the cusp. You can't rent for that. I mean, I was looking at some of these apartments. They're telling me they're going for $1,600, $1,800, $2,000. For 2 bedrooms. I'm going, God, this is insane.
No wonder with no tax benefits, and it costs you about 3 to 5% to get in, just like it does a home anyway. So why would you, rent if you can buy?
Absolutely.
People ask me, is this the best time to buy? I always answer the same way. No, the best time was 5 years ago. But since you can't turn back time, now is the second best time to buy. So get out there and buy, because it's going to continue to appreciate. If you look at historically the way these peaks and valleys go, and you know what? I agree with you. I think the Fed, there's a lot of positives that say, I don't know if we're going to have this peak and then fall off the shelf again. We're going to have this peak and level probably, and then go back to, remember when Vegas was 3 to 5% appreciation a year for the longest time? I wouldn't be shocked if we got back there.
Yeah, but it's going to be at a higher price point.
Oh, of course.
It's going to be at a higher price point. And you can see it already. I mean, even in April, where they were talking about, a lot more people quit their jobs in April than ever before in the history of employment in this country. It's because, they're the citizenry are actually putting pressure on employers, and they're basically saying, you know what, it's time that our wages go up just like the profits in the organizations have been going up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. All right. I always like to finish with this question. I love it. I can't wait to hear the way you're going to answer it. I'm a real estate agent. I want to be successful in this market. Give them the 3 most important things that you would consider them to, use or do.
Be consistent every single day. You've got consistency is the key to everything. Have tremendous follow-up skills on every lead or every person that you touch. And every day you've got to get in front of somebody every day, because you're unemployed. So every morning as a real estate agent, you wake up unemployed, and your job is to find an employer. And there's 660,000 of them out there. And all you got to do is just ask them, hey, I'd like to apply for the job of helping you buy or sell real estate. Are you hiring?
Yep. I imagine if the whole country was based on that. That's how you had to do your job. I think it would make a lot of people more interested in waking up every day and getting to work and doing it, because, like you just said, you wake up every day unemployed. You have to find an employer, and you have to list their home, sell their home. It really is. I always tell people, like, if I wanted to be in the NBA, I got to be tall. I have to be young. I have to be talented. I have to work. But in real estate, the playing field's equal. You just need to do the things that you just mentioned, and you can be a tremendous success in this business.
Yeah, even if you're not good, if you're consistent, you will be successful.
Exactly. And I used to tell myself that early on. Rick, you're not good, but you're consistent.
You're consistent, so therefore you'll be successful.
All right. Well, Aldo, thank you very much for your time, man. This was awesome. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you,
The
Rick.
studio audience goes crazy.
And
All right, guys.
studio audience is amazing. You know what? I need to collect one of those for myself.
It's actually Paul. All right.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you. Thanks, Aldo. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time, man.
I appreciate you.